Hello, Africa. My name is Eunice Tony, and this is eTV Ghana's African Women's Voices Show. It is the show that tackles issues pertaining to women as they contribute to national development. Women Crush Wednesday. Oh, we're looking forward to receiving messages from you around who you are crushing on. And there are so many of them on our Facebook page. I want to say we really identify with each and every one of you. And if you're a woman that was posted on our eTV Ghana page, we want to say, wow, we're celebrating you with your loved one who has chosen you to be the WCW for eTV Ghana's African Women's Voices Show. So this show is proudly brought to you by prominent brands that really care for women and for people across Africa. The first on the list is Chana Shito. When it comes to cooking, Chana Shito always has to be there to add that special spicy taste to your meals. So we say Chana Shito goes with various meals here in Ghana and across Africa. Rice is one dish that is taken everywhere all over the globe, and if you should try to Chana Shito, you definitely will enjoy it. It also goes with gari, it goes with eba. If some people even take it with amala. Amala, yes, the Yoruba dish called amala. You can take amala with Chana Shito. And here in Ghana, we also take something close to amala. It is actually called kokonte. Some people also take it that way. So I want to say, whenever you want to try out, something really spicy with any meal, let Chana Shito be that accompaniment that you're looking for. We have their number right now at the base of your screen. You could give them a call and buy in bulk. Dash to people, give it away, let people experience the beautiful taste of Chana Shito. Now, next on the list is Lizzie's Tomato Mix. Lizzie's Tomato Mix also is causing a great revolution when it comes to cooking here in Ghana and across Africa. For that tasty jollof rice, for that tasty peanut butter soup, for that tasty abenkwan, which is also known as palm nut soup, for that tasty stew, anything that has to do with tomato, you need to use Lizzie's Tomato Mix to give you that great taste. So now we've got Chana Shito and we've got Lizzie's Tomato Mix. So when you prepare that beautiful dish, you just have to put Chana Shito to the side and you will enjoy that dish. My dress is proudly put together by Afariwa Styles. I'm loving this dress so much. Afariwa can be located on Instagram and Facebook simply by just putting in Afariwa.style into the search button and you will find them. It's not difficult at all. They are into contemporary ladies and gents outfits, and what I love about it is that it's already made. So you go in, fit it, once it works, you're moving with your dress. We no longer need people telling us to come today or tomorrow. Afariwa Styles has sorted all of that out. Physically, Afariwa Styles can also be located along the Teshinungwa Road at Container Bus Stop. We also have another branch at Osu. So you can move in to see Afariwa physically, or you log on to Facebook and Instagram, or you simply give them a call. Right now, the number is at the base of your screen. You can call her and let her know whatever it is that you want. One thing I can assure you is that you're not going to be disappointed when you go to Afariwa Styles. And oh, my hair, looking gorgeous. Thank you to Awo's Hair. Awo put this together, and you can locate her on Instagram at Awo's Hair. Very simple. She can put together any kind of styles, be it braids, be it a long weave, whatever it is that you want. If you want to bleach it, she can do it all for you. So please look for Awo's Hair on Instagram, Awo's Hair. So I'm going to be linking you as usual to our 60 seconds update where we tell you what's happening to women in Ghana, Africa, and across the world, particularly if an African woman. To stay tuned.
The cries of Kate Jemfua, NPP's national women's organizer, have been deepened as more equipment at a mining site has been set on fire. The latest destruction comes barely 2 days after 20 excavators and other mining equipment was set ablaze by the government's anti-Galamsey task force in parts of the eastern region. The government's decision to clamp down on illegal mining is being intensified as a military chopper was spotted patrolling her mining site for over an hour. The secretary to Kate Jemfua's mining firm, Nana Asante Yeboah, revealed that the military task force stormed the premises on Monday afternoon to carry the exercise. Veteran television hostess Nana Adwoa Awindo has cautioned women not to use pregnancy as a deterrent to the pursuit of their desired careers. According to the Greetings from Abroad hostess, speaking about her work as a videographer for the then First Lady Nana Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings, Awindo said she continued to work hard even while she was 8 months pregnant. She said, "At a point, I was following Nana Konadu to do community engagement. I held my camera and I was 8 months pregnant." Nana Awindo, who was speaking on a reputable show in Ghana, attributed her subsequent success and fame on TV to hard work.
Thank you very much for joining us on the 60 Seconds update on eTV Ghana's African Women's Voices show. So, a lot of African women are celebrating one lady who has stood out in Kenya and across the world. You know what? Kenya has now had the first female Chief Justice, and she's no other person than Martha Koome. She actually has been in service for the past 31 years, and it's interesting to know that she's been appointed. Her appointment follows the approval by the National Assembly earlier today, and it was the president who actually made this appointment known to the entire world. Koome has worked in the legal profession for about 33 years, and she was one of the 10 applicants who were interviewed to succeed former CJ David Maraga. Congratulations, Martha. We are all very, very proud of you. Wow, so good to know. So you see, women are actually championing excellence across the world and across Africa. And what we do on eTV Ghana's African Women's Voices show is to amplify their efforts. We want everyone to hear the voice of everyone who is a woman that is doing something. And it doesn't matter who you are. You may not be at the top ladder. You could be just somewhere in your corner. Once we see that you're championing excellence in your corner, we definitely would like to talk to you and share your story. Last week, we were treating issues around lupus, where we shared the story of Apostle Lian Kofi, who had lived with lupus, for like 31 years, or 31 years ago, she was diagnosed with the condition. And we also got to meet Sweetness, who is actually managing it and living with it. She's got her children, and she shared her story, which was quite inspiring. Now, we are going to be talking to a doctor who's going to tell us the treatment options for lupus. But before we introduce her, I'd like to link you to this video for you to understand what lupus is all about if you were not able to watch the show last week. So let me link you to that footage.
Hello, I have lupus. Lupus is an autoimmune condition, a disease in which my immune system attacks my own body, causing a wide range of symptoms. It takes on many forms and affects everybody differently. One of the biggest problems I have with lupus is that nobody can see it. I don't usually have any visible symptoms and actually look very healthy a lot of the time. One of the symptoms I struggle with most is the fatigue that lupus causes. It is unlike normal tiredness and doesn't go away, regardless of how much rest I get. I can often wake up feeling worse because I also experience a lot of stiffness in my arms and legs in the morning. You really need to get up now, otherwise you'll be late for work again. I worry that people don't understand the fatigue caused by lupus and think that I'm just being lazy. The fatigue from lupus makes every task more difficult and causes me to get tired a lot quicker than other people. I have to pace myself carefully, because if I push too hard, it could bring on a flare. And I don't think my bosses have really understood lupus or believed how much it can have an impact on me. Sometimes it can feel like lupus takes over my life because I can't do things I used to enjoy before I was diagnosed. Hey, are you going to come and join us for a picnic today? It's so nice outside. No, sorry, I'd love to, but the sun makes me very unwell because of my lupus. I often have to let my friends down because I'm unwell, too tired, or unable to keep up with them. Some of my friends have just stopped inviting me now. Lupus is very unpredictable, and I never know how or when it might affect me. Lupus could attack any part of my body, including my kidneys, lungs, heart, or brain. Lupus can also cause some visible symptoms, such as hair loss and skin rashes, which can really damage my confidence. By taking my medication as advised and making adaptations to my lifestyle, I am able to have a measure of control over my lupus and hopefully reduce the amount of flares I have. I never know when my lupus may strike next. There is no cure for lupus, and sometimes I have to change my treatment because it is no longer effective enough or I am experiencing severe side effects. I hope that one day there will be a cure so that I can live a normal life again and not fear the threat of lupus anymore.
Wow, is that your story, or is that the story of someone you know? Today, we are going to be looking at treatment options for somebody who has been diagnosed to have lupus. If you watched the show last week, then the person I'm going to be introducing to you is not going to be a new person to you, because she actually was a doctor who spoke to us about whether lupus is transferred genetically or not. And she's no other person than Dr. Jifa Day. Welcome, Dr. Jifa.
Thank you very much, Eunice.
It's nice to actually meet you in person, you know,
Nice
to talk
to
to our
meet you,
audience too.
Thank you very much for having me.
Amazing. So anybody who actually looks at the description we gave to you on our artwork, we've got the part where we say that you are a rheumatologist, and that's kind of a big word. So some people may not really understand who that person is. Could you explain to us who a rheumatologist is?
Okay. So rheumatologist, I think most people recognize the first part, that's rheumatism.
Okay.
Rheumatism usually means anything that has got to do with the joints. So rheumatology means somebody who treats diseases that are associated with the joints. But it's not just the joints. So for rheumatology, we consider anything that connects to the joint as part of the things we treat. So the muscles, the ligaments, the cartilages, the small cells that we call connective tissue that connects to the joints as well becomes what we treat. And somehow those are the things that the immune system tends to attack. Okay. So we end up not treating just bone diseases, but what we call autoimmune diseases as well. Okay. So we encompass all those things as part of the things that a rheumatologist does.
Oh, nice. I like the fact that you mentioned that you know, you also look at autoimmune disease, and that was why we played the footage that we did right now. So we understand from that footage that lupus is an autoimmune disease, which means that part of what she does actually is related to autoimmune diseases. And that brings me to my next question. I was going to ask you, what kind of, you know, ailments or conditions does a rheumatologist actually look into?
Okay, so I mentioned earlier that we deal with autoimmune diseases. Now, there are different types of autoimmune diseases. We have the localized type and then the systemic type.
Okay.
We tend to deal with the systemic type. Systemic meaning it doesn't attack only just one organ, but attacks different organs. So something like lupus, as we saw in the video, can attack the skin, the hair, the lungs, the heart, different organs or systems in the body. So those are the systemic diseases we deal with. But we have other conditions which are not necessarily autoimmune, but may also attack the joint. We call them auto-inflammatory condition. So those ones too, there's inflammation going on in the body. When you say inflammation, that means there's redness, there's swelling, there's tenderness in the joints. And those are different types. Some of those may be things like gout, ankylosing spondylitis, which may not be so common for people, Behçet's disease. All those are autoimmune inflammatory conditions. Part of the autoimmune conditions those people may know about very well is rheumatoid arthritis. Okay. Then we also deal with things we call the degenerative conditions. Those ones people are very well versed with. Osteoarthritis, that is the old age type of arthritis. When the old ladies complain about the knee joint pains, we deal with those ones too. And those ones are not autoimmune. Okay. So there are various conditions that we deal with. Muscle diseases, which may be autoimmune or not, we also deal with that. And then the real ones, sometimes what we call the connective tissue, the things that connect the various muscles. They may cause people to be too flexible. So you see the gymnasts, you look at them, they look so fantastic, but they may get joint and muscle problems in future. There are some of the things that we deal with as well.
Fantastic. Okay. And the beautiful thing I heard when I was doing my research was that there are only 2 of them here in Ghana, and Dr. Jifa is actually one of them, and it's really a pleasure to have her here. We're going for a quick commercial break. When we return, we would like to find out from Dr. Jifa as to, you know, when one wants to pay a visit to a doctor, what kind of questions do you need to ask the doctor? Okay, so we'll ask her that question when we come back. Do not go away. And you're welcome back to eTVGhana's African Women's Voices show. Just before we went on the break, we were going to ask the doctor, for somebody who is going to visit a rheumatologist for the first time, what kind of questions or what kind of preparations do you need to make before you get there? Because we want to ensure that we have every information that we need to have. And this is because there are just 2 of them in the entire country. So it's not so easy to get to meet with them. So eventually, when you do, you need to be sure that all your questions and what you need to bring along, if there is, you already have them. And eTVGhana's African Women's Voices show wants to help you with that. So we continue the conversation. Tell us, what do you think should be the first, or some of the questions, or what we should prepare whenever we need to come and meet with you?
So I'm assuming that if they are sending you to me, that means that you've already been suspected or diagnosed with an autoimmune condition or something related to rheumatology. And so the first thing is to know what the diagnosis is. So you want to confirm. A lot of people come, and after you've had an interaction with them, they actually leave without making sure that they know the diagnosis, or they carry their old diagnosis with them and not the new diagnosis that we make after doing the various labs. So you should be sure what your diagnosis is. Because being diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis is not the same as being diagnosed with lupus finally. So clarify your diagnosis and be sure the prognosis is different. Now, when you're diagnosed with any of them too, one of the things to clarify with the doctor is any of my organs involved? That is very important, because that has an impact on your long-term outcome. If you have kidney involvement, if you have brain involvement, if you have lung involvement, then you know that those are serious organs. Your disease has to be treated aggressively. So you need to know that as well. You also need to know the treatments that they are being given. For some people, especially lupus patients, these are patients that are in the prime of their life, their childbearing age. So if you have plans of getting married, or you're married and you are planning to have children, you need to talk to your doctor how this disease is going to impact on your children or your chances of childbearing, and how that would impact on the medications that you are going to take and your treatment. That's one of the important challenges that patients face, and we also face, because you know, Africans, we love babies, and there's always a problem when you don't clarify that. Then your medications, how long you're supposed to take it for. People think it's just like malaria. You treat it for a short period and that is it. Your immune system is dysfunctional. It is your immune system, however. You cannot take it away. So you want to know how you are controlling it so that it doesn't attack you and destroy you. So it's not a one-day treatment, it's a long-term treatment. Ask about the side effects of the medications, how you are managing it better. How is the doctor monitoring the side effects of the medications for you, so that you are invested in your care. Once you are invested in it, you know what to look out for, your side effects. Then you can easily tell your doctor, this is what I faced when I was away. Keep a journal. There are various apps that patients can use to keep journals, especially because people who have these autoimmune diseases tend to get what we call brain fog. They forget things easily, they are confused. Sometimes they are not able to process information well. That doesn't mean they are not smart. All the people in my support groups are doing PhDs and masters, and I'm wondering how they are. But keep a journal and be able to track your signs, symptoms, the things that you have. So when you come to the doctor, you're able to go through it. You leave and then you remember that, oh, I forgot to ask this important information that I needed to ask.
Oh, well noted. We need to put a journal down and write our symptoms. Because it happens a lot of times. You come to see the doctor and then you forget to say something really key.
Exactly. So keep a track of the symptoms that you've been experiencing, the ones that you think you've resolved, the ones that you think you need to sort out. Keep a journal, and when you come to your doctor, you need to ask about it.
Amazing. I want to believe we all got that information if we're going to have our first visit to our rheumatologist. I like the part where she mentioned that, you know, when you're trying to have a baby, you need to know certain things about yourself also. And that brings me to the fact that on Saturday, the 22nd of May, it will be World Preeclampsia Day. And this is a condition that affects a lot of pregnant people. I'd like us to get information around it and see how that also links to the conversation of lupus today. So let's watch this.
Hello everyone, my name is Nana Efiasapong, the Executive Director of Efiasapong Foundation and a preeclampsia survivor. Preeclampsia is pregnancy-induced hypertension and one of the leading causes of maternal mortality in Ghana. In 2019, we launched the Efiasapong Foundation with our maiden program, Preeclampsia Initiative, to create awareness about this deadly condition. Since then, we've had a number of awareness creation programs, such as educating pregnant women, online and social media interactions, a Zoom interactive program where we had a psychologist and a doctor be online to answer all pertinent questions that the public had. One of our awareness creation programs, which we are really excited about, which was made possible through the donations when we launched the foundation, is a collaboration with Ministry of Health and Ghana Health Service to produce an educational video which will be shown in all maternity clinics across the country.
Hey, sister Kosia, you say na fata usei. Hey, una singing na ta.
We officially launched this educational video at Salt Pond Government Hospital on May 19, 2021 as part of commemorating the World Preeclampsia Day. In addition, we will distribute blood pressure machines to the hospital and pregnant women to enable them check their blood pressure at home. We appreciate your support so far and encourage you to continue to donate, share our educational materials on social media, like and follow our social media handles. God bless you, and may God continue to protect pregnant women throughout their pregnancy and beyond.
And God bless you too, Efua Sapong Foundation, for what you're doing for women. This is really interesting, and we saw the moment number there. If you want to make a donation, please do make a donation, because once you're helping one person, it goes a very long way to help the entire society. So Dr. Day, looking at what she explained around this condition, we had to do with, hypertension, with pregnant women. Is there a link to people who are suffering lupus, especially women?
Yes, actually. So that's a fantastic initiative, really. We know that patients with lupus have a higher risk of hypertension in pregnancy, preeclampsia, and eclampsia. Okay. So ideally, in some places, if a woman has that in the pregnancy, you should screen for an autoimmune disease like lupus.
Wow, okay. So meaning that maybe if you come to the hospital and they notice that you've got, this kind of condition, it will really be ideal to check.
Yes, so usually it tends to happen towards the latter part of pregnancy. So you may not notice it at the beginning. So it happens at the latter part. But if that happens, especially if it happens in a subsequent pregnancy as well, then it's worth checking for lupus in the patient. And another condition that we call an antiphospholipid syndrome, which comes together with lupus or not, or can come on its own. Yeah.
That's well noted. All right. We wanted to actually know, now that we've understood what lupus is all about and the questions we need to ask our rheumatologist when we make the visit, and now we see that there's a link between preeclampsia and, there's a link to it, to lupus, I would like to now delve into the treatment options for lupus. We are Africans and we love our herbs. And a lot of times we don't even diagnose. Once we are feeling like, oh, we're not feeling strong, we feel like, okay, there's this herb in the barn, let's go there and pick that one and consume it. Oh, I think I'm feeling pains in my joint. Oh, there's a particular herb for it, let's use it. Without diagnosis, in most cases we don't. Even if someone comes to diagnose, they just feel you and say, okay, we think the problem is here, and so that's our own treatment option. So, but like a doctor would say, what kind of treatment option do people who've got lupus have to go through?
So now, lupus is not one condition. It's not like malaria. Even malaria is not one condition. It's what we call a syndrome or a spectrum. So people come with various degrees of symptoms. So someone comes and all they have is skin problems. Someone will come and right at the beginning, they come with kidney problems. You can't treat those two patients the same. So we always say you treat according to what the patient is manifesting and the severity of the symptoms. So we tend to divide it to mild, moderate, and severe disease. If it is mild, we tend to give what we call immunosuppressants, so corticosteroids usually. The most common one we use is a drug called prednisolone, which most people are familiar with. And we have different doses depending on the severity of the disease to try and bring the immune system down. Remember, the immune system is overacting. So what we want to do is to calm it down. So that's one of the basic things that we do. We use drugs like hydroxychloroquine, which became very famous during the COVID epidemic or pandemic. It's been used a lot in rheumatology since World War II. We use it to treat the joint problems. What we know is that It also helps to minimize the disease activity, and people who are on it tend to live longer, and their disease tends to be more calmer. So that's one of the essential things that we use. Then we have several drugs that we call immunosuppressive drugs. So these are the main drugs that actually suppress the immune system through various pathways. So some will block a certain part of the immune system, some will block a certain part of the immune system. And we select them depending on what you are manifesting. So if someone comes with joints as being the predominant symptom, then we know which of those drugs is good for that person. If someone comes with skin, we know which joint. So if you go on the internet and someone says, oh, I'm on this drug, it doesn't necessarily mean that you also need to be on that drug. It depends. You should discuss with your doctor, am I eligible for this drug or not? Okay, that's a mistake sometimes patients make. And now with the advent of science and we understanding the disease more, they've developed drugs that we call biologics. These are also immunosuppressants, but they are what we call targeted treatments. We know exactly where in the immune part where the problem is happening. And so these drugs target specific places in the immune system. So these are the ones that are causing a good revolution in the management of lupus patients. We're hoping that in future, they might even be the cure for it. As of now, we know that they are more effective at treating some of the very severe manifestations of the disease, especially in the kidney, the brain, the lungs, attacking the vessels. Then we have these potent drugs that we can use to treat it. But we shouldn't forget that it's not only the medical management.
Okay.
You also have other aspects that you should look at. Diet is important. We also advise the patients to make sure they're eating more fresh fruits and vegetables, as fresh as possible in its natural state as possible. So consider our patients, they should always look at themselves as whatever advice they give diabetics, take that advice as well.
Okay.
Your diet should be more vegetable or plant-centered. Probiotics are bacteria that are supposed to be good for you. We are finding out that the gut where has a lot of immune cells.
Okay.
And we are finding that that dysfunction also contributes to the immune systems problems that may happen in people who have autoimmune diseases. And so we try to normalize what's called the gut bacteria or flora with probiotics. And some studies are showing that that would also help in calming the immune system down. Vitamin D is something as well that we also advise patients to take because it also helps to modulate the immune system. Remember, we said we are not suppressing the immune system, we are just making sure that it's calm and modulated. But you should always check your vitamin D with your doctor first before you go and take the supplements, because you can actually take too much and get toxic levels because it's not excreted quickly from the body. We have certain foods that we know have anti-inflammatory properties, so they reduce inflammation in the body. And you want to incorporate that into your diet as much as possible. Things like fish, your fatty fish, your vitamin D we mentioned earlier, your omega-3 fish oil capsules. Use your chia seeds and flax seeds, have good omega-3s. Olive oil, very good omega-6, that is also good to incorporate in your diet. And those help to try and minimize the disease as well.
Wow. Fantastic. And the list goes on and on and on. We have to go for another quick commercial break. When we return, we're going to be finding out from Dr. Day how safe it is to get pregnant at this time of, the condition. If you're diagnosed with it, is it really safe to get pregnant? And even the medicines you just mentioned, do they have side effects? What can they possibly do to us? That we shall find out after this break. Do not go away. You're welcome back to eTVGhana's African Women's Voices show. Just before we went on the break, I mentioned that we were going to be asking the doctor if it's safe to have lupus and also get pregnant. And also the medications she mentioned, we'd like to know if they've got side effects. So over to you, Dr. Day. Is it safe to actually get pregnant when you've been told that you've got lupus?
So we always say pregnancy has to be planned when you have lupus.
Okay.
You have to make sure the disease is under control. You have to make sure that you don't have a major organ that is involved or damaged. And so it's something that you have to plan with your doctor, who may also involve several specialists to make sure that things are fine.
Okay.
Once this is planned, we get a lot of safe pregnancies and deliveries.
That's good news.
If there's a major organ involvement, remember, normally we try to manage, make sure the disease is under control for at least 6 months.
Okay.
6 months where you don't have activity, and the doctor gives you the go-ahead to have babies. So yes, it's possible, but once you plan it, then things go on well. Pregnancy itself can make lupus active, and so that's why it's important that before you actually get pregnant, things must be at a calm stage, so that you don't get the likelihood of getting a complication occurring during the pregnancy.
Oh, okay. And the beautiful thing about what she's saying is that at least we had 2 people who came last week, and they made us to understand that they've got their children. Apostle and Kofi had 2 children after then when she had the lupus, and then Sweetness also has got her children even with the condition, which goes a long way to say that they have been planning their pregnancies, and their doctor is Dr. Day. So we have to give some kind of credit to you too for helping them plan it through. So you really need to check her out on her social media pages so that you book an appointment, and maybe she's going to let you know how to book the appointment, but you just need to reach out to her if you're feeling very uneasy about your diagnosis and you need her to be able to look into it for you. Okay, so we will put her social media handles on the screen for you as the conversation continues, or she'll even give it to us even while we have this conversation. So in terms of side effects, tell us, do these medications you mentioned, do they have side effects?
Yes, everything has a side effect. We say even water has side effects.
Absolutely.
So a lot of times we tell our patients that you need to weigh the benefit of the drugs you are going to take versus what will happen if you do not take the medication, what the disease will do for you. And for us as doctors, we always know the ravage that this disease can cause. So yes, they have side effects. All of them are different. And so we monitor patients for it to make sure this doesn't occur. The most common drug that we use for this condition is prednisolone. And in fact, a lot of the patients, before they even come, they've heard about prednisolone and the side effects. So some of them are against, especially the women, because prednisolone makes you put on weight. It makes you eat a bit. So the moment you talk about it, they say, no, doctor, I don't want to get fat. So one of the side effects is it makes you put on weight. But if we know the side effects, we know how to manage it, we monitor it, we try to taper the drug dose as quickly as we can, but safely for you. Because unfortunately, it is a dunfu kung fu, as they say. It helps you, but it kills you. But if you are not careful, it can harm you. But we know how to manage it properly. So it can cause weight gain. We have to monitor your sugar, your blood pressure when you're on it. Make sure we protect your bones and your stomach when you're on it, stomach lining when you're on it. The other medicines, remember, we are trying to suppress the immune system. So sometimes we may suppress it too much, and so it may increase the risk of infection. So we always have to do a nice, fine balancing act to make sure that we do not overshoot or undershoot when we are treating you. That is the most significant side effect that we have with the medication, that maybe your immune system goes down too much and then you increase your risk of catching infection. So anytime there's any flare-up of the condition, one of the first things we want to do as doctors is to be sure there's no infection and treat that quickly. So don't always assume that, oh, I have a flare, that is from the lupus. We always want to be certain exactly what is causing the flare. So those are the things that we monitor for. Some have other peculiar side effects, but I don't think that it's something that the patients necessarily have to worry about once you discuss with your doctors.
Amazing. So now we are going to be talking about how people who are living with lupus, the lupus warriors, how this is affecting them economically. Because it comes at a time when maybe you may not really be working anymore. Sweetness told us last week that she had to stop working because it wasn't so nice having to take permission all the time. I'm feeling weak today, the next time you're strong, and then the next time again you're down. So a lot of times they're not economically empowered. And we found out from the research around you that there's actually something you're doing about it through TRI. We would like you to tell us about TRI so that we all can know about it and then see how we can also support TRI.
So TRI is a foundation that we started in 2012 when I came back from training. Realized, as you mentioned earlier, there were no rheumatologists. We're just starting the clinic and the practice, and people did not know about the condition. And if people do not know about the condition, especially in the general public and even among health workers, it makes it difficult for you to actually push for the patients, push for treatments to be available. So we started it as an educational type of service or NGO. But actually we realized that there was a need for more than that. The patients who came, am I the only one who's been diagnosed? And it was quite lonely for them. So we started a peer support group. We have an adult peer support group. We have a young people's peer support group so that they communicate with each other. And it's such a fun space to be. You get people who understand you, who you can communicate your symptoms with. Because a lot of times they'll tell you, people look at you, you look so fantastic. But inside what is happening to you, nobody can understand. So having someone who is able to understand that is really, really heartwarming, and it gives them a sense of hope that things will be fine. So that's also is something that we do. And this support group, we offer services. We've done physiotherapy sessions with them, eye, dental screening, and we also teach them, as you were mentioning earlier.
Wow, you educate them?
Oh, yes.
Wow, that's amazing.
Oh, yes. So we realized that one of the things that was also hampering them is, as you mentioned, that a lot of them lose their jobs because not that they don't want to work. A lot of them have the will and the zeal to work, but some days you wake up and suddenly you've had a flare-up and people don't understand it. If you're not careful, people have lost promotions because of the illness, having to take permission. So we thought it's good to have a backup plan in case anything happens. So we teach them handicrafts, we teach them soap making, bead making, and a lot of them have turned it into businesses that they are running to help them, to support them, to be able to take care of themselves. And also, as we mentioned, diagnosing the disease early is one of the key things. Once you diagnose before the organ gets damaged, then you know that this patient can live a normal life. So one of our focus has been on training doctors and health workers to be able to recognize this condition early, offer treatment early, even if you have to refer, by that time you've started something at least. So we've been educating doctors across the country. We've done 3 educational seminars. We've educated over 120 doctors. We've helped to train rheumatology nurses to support the rheumatology clinics because we don't have enough doctors. But these nurses are trained, able to manage some clinics on their own to be able to help manage their patients.
Wow.
So these are some of the things that we are doing to help to improve care for patients. And then the drugs. There are drugs that are needed sometimes in an emergency. Unfortunately, lupus is especially it's a condition where you can have sudden flares. And the immune system is attacking an organ. You don't have the luxury of even a week not to tell the patient to go and look for this drug, look for money and go and buy this drug. And these emergency drugs can cost about 1,000 cedis for a short course of it, so that then you stabilize the patient for the future treatment. So we started raising funds. We've organized a lot of fundraising events to try and source funds so that when we have patients who come in an emergency like that, and that is all they need, we can at least support them to stabilize an organ so that we stabilize them, then they can look for money to do the long-term treatment. 1,000 cedis is cheaper than getting someone's kidney damaged in 6 weeks and the person ends up on dialysis. So we've done that, and every year we've supported over 60 people since we started in 2012 to be able to get that treatment.
Amazing, amazing. TRI is doing amazing things. You know what it means to empower people who have lost their jobs because of the condition they are living with. TRI has done it, as well as so many other things that she's explained. I want to say a very big thank you to you. And we all have to see what we can do to also support TRI, because if a brother or a sister is supported, goes a long way to give us a better society. We're going for our final commercial break. When we return, we're going to be finding out what she wants to say to the government and policymakers around rheumatology, and also get to show you what happened to our winners for Mother's Day. They got some pampering, and we'll tell you all that right after this. To stay tuned. Yeah, welcome back to eTVGhana's African Women's Voices show. I'm going to our Facebook page to acknowledge all of you that are watching us from there. Hello. Thank you for always joining in through Facebook. We really appreciate you. And as usual, we are seeing a lot of waves from across Africa and the world. The first wave I saw was that from Abuja. This time around, Abuja took the lead. Thank you very much. I see a wave from Nnewi. I see another wave from Nsukka. You're from Nsukka and you're sending your wave. Nice. I also see a wave from Dubai, from the United States, from the UK, from Japan, from Dubai. I see from Madagascar. Thank you so much for sending in your wave and for joining us on eTV Ghana's African Women's Voices show. Let me leave the other side of the world and come down to Africa and see what's happening there. Okay, yeah, I said I saw a wave from Madagascar. Thank you. From Togo, from Burkina Faso. I also see from Malawi, from Mali. I see another wave from Gambia. Yes, nice. Sierra Leone, I see you. And then coming down to Ghana, what waves am I seeing? From Tamale. Thank you very much. Tamale, you've come back to your first position again. You sent in your first wave, and I see from Accra, from the Volta region, from Sunyani, from Laura. I see from Navrongo, you're sending in your waves. Thank you all for joining in and watching. Let me take some comments. I see King Wise. He says, good evening. And I see Mana Myers. He says, great and insightful interview. I see Angie Beck. She says, hashtag TRI Ghana. Okay, that's a hashtag. And I see Helena Mensa. She says, great interview. God bless you, Dr. Day. I see Manyana Kwale Korte. Hashtag TRI Ghana. Nice. And Helena has also come up with her hashtag as well. TRI Ghana all the way. Yes. Joanna Ashite. She says TRI Ghana as well. Franklin here, wow, the hashtag is trending. Hashtag TRI Ghana. I see Franklin here as well. Again, he says, Dr. Day is our own special angel. Oh, this is beautiful. I see Sauda, I think Isaac Zeba. He says, hashtag TRI Ghana. I see Dinah Banfro. She says, nice one there. Okay, so we have to get back to the conversation, but just know that we acknowledge you and we are so happy that you were able to join us on Facebook to be part of this conversation. Before we went on the break, I was saying something around talking about the winners for Mother's Day. We like to show people what actually happened and the pampering they received. Please, I'm going to show that to you. And I also don't want to leave out this comment from here. Somebody's admiring your purple color. Well, the beautiful thing about the purple color is that it's the official color for Lupus. If you noted very well, when Apostle Liane gave her interview and her short video, actually she was wearing all purple. And you see Dr. Day also is living the purple. And it looks really, really nice on you. Thank you so much.
It's the color of royalty as
well. It's
the
color of royalty, yeah. You know, girls, women, we are all royals wherever we are. So let's wear the purple, especially this month, showcase it and get people to be aware of Lupus. So now I'll take you over to the other side so we get to see what happened to the winners of Mother's Day. Do stay tuned.
Mama, I dedicate this song to you. Wherever you day, my mama, I just want to say thank you. Our mama, I just sing this song for you.
Hello, my name is Nunanado. I entered this Mother's Day competition for my grandma. I called to wish my grandma a happy Mother's Day. And I won this beautiful hampers from Yamvita, Fortune, Rice, ATL, and a spa ticket from Lotus Spa for my grandma, for both of us actually. I just want to say thank you, eTV Ghana, and keep watching African Women's Voices.
And you're welcome back, Nunanado. Thank you so much. And she said it all. Keep watching eTV Ghana's African Women's Voices show. Let me just read one more comment from Araba Hakman Akanji. She says, so educative. Thank you, Dr. Day. So it looks like our time is really flying and we need to wrap up. But I'd like to hear from you. What would you like to say to the government or policymakers as well as the public? And maybe somebody who is watching us right now who is a lupus warrior, or somebody who is yet to even know that they've got the condition. You're going to have to say all these three things, merge it and make it one.
Well, to the government, I'll say that autoimmune diseases, including lupus, are one of the fastest diseases which are on the rise. A lot of times, the emphasis is on the ones that we know, cardiovascular disease, malaria. But if you put autoimmune diseases together, they're actually more than the cases of cardiovascular diseases, malaria, HIV, all put together. Autoimmune diseases are more than that. And these have a high impact on the healthcare system. If you look at the cause of musculoskeletal disease, they are more than any disease across the world, but a lot of attention is not placed on it until damage occurs, and then it becomes a burden. So putting things in place that makes it easy for patients to get access to care. Little drugs like prednisone should be the cheapest drug, should be available on the National Health Insurance Scheme so that the patients can have access to them and their medications so that it doesn't become a burden later on the healthcare system. I think that's something that will benefit the government, benefit the country, and benefit the patients.
Absolutely. A healthy nation is a wealthy nation.
Definitely. And these are people in the prime of their lives. And so it's good to be able to do something to help them. We should all, for the general public, know that these diseases are real. Everybody is at risk, as they say. The last 2 years, the theme for lupus awareness was lupus knows no boundaries. It can affect anybody from young people to old people. Unfortunately, before people get aware of it, it's only when they have had someone who's had an encounter with it. And we do not want that to be the case. Everybody should be aware of it, to be able to recognize it early and diagnose it early. This year, our theme is invisible but not imagined. That you remember that patients go through a lot when they have these diseases. You may see them looking very nice, as you saw with Apostle, but look at the things she has gone through. It doesn't mean that the disease is not there. People put on a brave, nice face. That doesn't mean they are not encountering things. So when you encounter people, be kind to them. Try to understand the disease and help them in whichever way you can.
Just like eTVGhana is doing.
Exactly. So try to help us to do our work to be able to help patients to live a normal life. 5 years ago, or more than 5 years, if you had lupus and your disease is not treated early, 95% of patients will not live beyond 5 years. Now with proper treatment, 95% of patients would live a normal life as anybody else. Wow. So there is hope. That's what I also want to tell the patients. Hope. You seek things, seek the proper treatments, you can live a normal life. Don't let the negative things that you hear, people say, oh, lupus is a death sentence. It's not a death sentence. If you manage it carefully, you can live a normal life with a lot of hope.
Thank you so much for coming. So please, could you just leave your social media handles so that people could reach out to you?
So Try Ghana, that's our official plug. So on Instagram and Twitter, so that's TRI Ghana. You can reach us there. You can also contact us on 054-408-9065 if you suspect you have an autoimmune condition and you want to be linked with care, or you want to donate to help our organization. You can use the same number as well.
Amazing. To us. Thank you so much. The conversation continues on our social media pages. So if you send in any question, we definitely will send it through to Dr. who will be able to answer them for us if we're not able to cover. But I want to believe we covered quite a lot today, and even last week with what she taught us. I want to say a very big thank you to you from on Facebook, watching us from all over the world. I also want to say a big thank you to those who are watching us from home on their television sets for always watching eTVGhana's African Women's Voices show. And this show has been nominated for an award. So please, we need you to vote, 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 vote. I have been nominated for TV Personality of the Year for Spotlight. So please, if you just go to _Skaba Ghana, you see the artwork, and then you get to vote, and then just make us winners, okay? When I win, you also will win. And to all our sponsors, thank you. Chanashetor, Afariwa Styles, our Wool's Hair, Liz's Tomato Mix, you guys have been amazing. And those who are coming on board, I can't wait to welcome you all. So the repeat broadcast of this show will be coming back to you on Saturday at 12 noon. You can also watch this broadcast again on our Facebook page at eTVGhana or on our YouTube page. Do enjoy the rest of our interesting lineup for you. Bye-bye.